I'm pretty sure this is the first video I've ever made with Taylor Swift as the focus for it, and that's because I just don't really have any strong feelings on her or her music. I don't know a whole lot about her, like, in her personal life or anything other than, like, all the breakups and stuff, but that's just not something I tune into super deeply. All I know is she's got some songs in her catalog I like to wiggle my finger to occasionally. Like, I don't dislike her music, I don't hate the songs that she's put out. There are a few boner jams in there. But the reason I'm talking about her today is because she has a new album that just came out, which I didn't even know was around the corner. But something is a bit awry. There's a disturbance out there because for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure, people are saying it's not good. Even her most loyal of fans are criticizing it. A feat I didn't even think was possible. It defies our very fundamental understanding of science. The Swifties vocally expressing disappointment, and not only in the album, but in the way in which Taylor Swift has gone about it. There is a lot of greed at play here that I would have never even imagined as like a money-making strategy. It's so fucking scummy. But Swifties have been well known to support any and everything Taylor Swift does at basically any price point imaginable. You could ask the moon, and they would happily fork over every single doubloon in their piggy bank for it. They would pay $5,000 to be in the same room that Taylor Swift farted in 5 years ago, and they would pay that with a big smile on their face, and go online to rave about the incredible experience being near like a smidgen of ass molecule that Taylor Swift shared the same air as this one room one time. Like, and yet, they are talking about how disappointing this is from Taylor. That's crazy to me. That has to be like an indicator for an impending apocalypse. Like, I bet if you correlate this with the Mayan calendar, we're going to find evidence to the end times right around the corner. It is shocking, to say the least. And since I brought up the end times, I want to tell you that the end of bad hygiene is here, thanks to our soap Cheeky. We've got a new scent available now. It's the Sunday Scaries. It's our vanilla scent, which is a scent that has been requested highly for like the last year, and it's finally here. So you can go to usecheeky.com and get yourself the best soap ever created. So naturally, before getting into like the greedy monetization model for this album, Life of a Showgirl, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion on the album because I decided to take a little listen. I didn't hate it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what all the hoopla is about. Like, it seems like just a very normal Taylor Swift album. Admittedly, there's nothing on there that jumped out at me as a classic that's going to be talked about as one of her finest pieces, you know, one of her top tracks or anything. But it wasn't nails on a chalkboard or anything. It didn't feel like it was just lazy throwaway garbage. Like, I didn't feel like I was listening to You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack or something. Like, it was just very simple. Not to throw shade at You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack, of course, but the point is, it just felt like a really normal Taylor Swift album. It wasn't extraordinary, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as I'm hearing a lot of people say. The only track on here that actually did raise my eyebrow was Wood, which is a song about Travis Kelce's wiener. It's about a little more than that, but that's kind of like the focus, is Travis Kelce's meat. Kind of lyrics that just make you go, ooh, instead of have you snapping your fingers. Forgive me, it sounds cocky, he amatized me. I actually had to look up what that was. It's apparently dickmatized instead of hypnotized, where you get fucked so good that you get hypnotized, apparently. At least according to fan interpretations of that line. There's a lot of layers to this onion, of course. It's very deep songwriting. And opened my eyes, redwood tree, it ain't hard to see, his love was the key that opened my thighs. Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way. Oh. Like, when I heard that for the first time, it brought out the same feeling as the first time I heard Riley Reid freestyle rap. It was just, it was visceral. These lyrics really do feel like something I myself would write as a joke for one of our songs, The Gentle Men. And who knows, maybe Taylor Swift is a fan of The Gentle Men and was inspired by our songwriting styles. Because, like, I could see myself writing some shit like that for a goofy track. You know, penis appointment, you know I'm on time. He's dunking his balls like MJ in his prime. Like, it really does sound like something I would have cooked up for sillies. But, I don't know, the rest of the song, it kind of plays it pretty straight, like pretty serious. And it's just, I don't know. That, out of all the songs on the album, that's the only one where I was like, oh. But anyway, enough about the album itself. I think it is just like a very normal, generic Taylor Swift album. Do I think it's anything special? No. Do I think it's anything abhorrent and as awful as everyone else seems to think it is? Also no. But I did see a banger tweet that a buddy of mine sent me that I guess kind of sums it up nicely. I said Taylor Swift's new album sucks and I didn't even get a single death threat from a Swiftie. That's how bad it is. For those that don't know, since basically the beginning of Taylor Swift's career, anyone that speaks out saying like, I didn't really like that, they get dogpiled by Swifties with death threats, oftentimes racism. Like, the Swiftie online reputation has been pretty scary for a while, actually. And of course, it's not all Swifties, obviously, but it's enough to be kind of like a common thought, a stereotype for Swifties that has been around for a while, where if you say you don't like something about Taylor Swift or her album, get ready for some of the most colorful insults you'll ever read and a lot of death threats. So now, with the actual album itself out of the way, let's talk about how she monetized it, how she tried to squeeze more money from all of her fans, because it is egregious. I think this is probably why there are so few people coming to her defense here, because this is kind of indefensible. This is an article from a site called Defector that kind of broke it all down and gave like their review of it and talking about the monetization here and how greedy it is. So, upon announcing the album, Swift put up a vinyl for pre-order on her site, and then another, and then another. Before the album was even released, she had promoted and sold on her site 8 exclusive vinyl variants in different colors with different names, and 8 CDs and 1 sweater which comes with a CD. The vinyls cost $34, the CDs cost $20, the sweater CD cost $70, and one of those was a Target exclusive edition. Don't forget Target. The marketing scheme for each of these releases, which came one after another, was scarcity. They will sell out, you will never have another opportunity, hurry, show your love and devotion. And unsurprisingly, it was a very successful business model. She's apparently sold 2.7 million copies of the album in physical and digital. When she announced it on the New Heights podcast, she promised this album wouldn't have any bonus tracks. Historically, Swift has sold her fans the album and then asked them to buy it again to access extra songs. The Life of a Showgirl, she promised, was fully complete, but then on Saturday night, another countdown appeared on her website, and at the end of it, she announced 4 additional CDs of the same album that fans could buy. These versions cost $8 a piece, and each includes 2 exclusive acoustic versions of songs on the album. That means that in addition to the songs on the album, Swift also recorded 8 acoustic versions, but you can only hear them if you purchase each of the 4 CDs. You have to collect this shit like pieces of Exodia here to get the whole experience. It goes on to say she didn't lie technically. There are no new songs on the CDs, just an opportunity for her to make even more money. So the songs aren't new, but they're a different recording of the same song a different way. There's really no way of justifying that. The whole purpose is just to squeeze more money out of the audience because she knows they are going to lap it up 100%, and they are. Like, it is still making tons of money, even though it's not being received overly positive. Another thing they're putting her feet to the fire for is apparently using AI in this new album rollout. So it's pretty clear that this is big time money making mode here. This isn't really about the artistry of her craft or anything. It does seem like the whole goal here is to try and squeeze as much out of this album as she possibly can, with so many like additions and shit, even cutting corners on to use AI. Like, she has unfathomable wealth. There is just no excuse for not just hiring a real person, a real artist for that. The only reason she'd use AI is to save money, which is pretty crazy considering she's a fucking billionaire. Like, how are you gonna cheap out on this? It's so wacky to me. So it's hard to disagree with people expressing their sentiment that Taylor Swift is just selling out and is looking to just make as much money off this album as she can possibly squeeze without really caring about the art or the community that she's built. Just kind of throwing Swifties into the mud and just treating them like a useful piggy bank she can tap into whenever she wants for delivering very little to them. Like I said, it's hard to disagree with that because why the fuck are there so many versions of this? Why are you using AI? Like, there are just so many things that are clearly just here because it's greedy. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see even the most loyal of Swifties calling it out, saying, like, this is unacceptable. This is really disappointing from Taylor. I thought she had reached this point where she was literally infallible in some people's eyes. So it's good to see that there are things people won't stomach when it comes to her greed with this album. I think that's good. So hopefully there'll be a course correction here from her team, like with the way this has been handled. I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to yap about it a little bit because this was pretty shocking to see that her album and her business acumen here being criticized by Swifties. So anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.